The latest in real estate news, happenings, a bit of local news as well for our market.
Yeah, so we're back here this week. We're going to have the latest stats in the market as well as a couple timely news articles as usual.
That's right. So before we get started, a couple of very quick announcements. So to keep you guys updated, Matt and I have taken over from David Morse, who is in our office here as our assistant team leader, is moving out to the Southwest. A group called Portfolio, which is Portland's premier real estate meetup group. Meets once a month, the last Wednesday of the month generally. It's a great place to come, talk real estate, learn about real estate, learn about investing, make connections.
So as Mike said, our next meeting is going to be the end of January because of the holidays coming up. And it's the last Wednesday of every month recurring. And for those of you who want to dive a little deeper into real estate, it's a really great resource where we, look into deals, talk about funding, how to invest in real estate and get some professional speakers in so we can all learn a little more. It's a really neat group. We encourage you to come check it out.
Yep, it's all about education. Whether you're just starting or you've already got multiple units and you're an experienced investor, there's a lot to learn, a lot to gain. Come be a contributor, come be a learner. Everybody's welcome.
And one of our bigger tenets is to actually bring value in terms of putting deals together.
That's right.
So you can meet people. We've already had some deals come together wouldn't have come together otherwise.
That's right.
So come here and you'll work it out and see what we can make happen.
Right, and it is free, and it's hosted at a great place.
Always free.
Yep, and we'll put up the details. We'll put a link below wherever you're watching this, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. We'll link below. And like or comment on our page here, so you'll hear the latest updates and be in touch with that.
Yeah, we'll hope to see you there.
Awesome. All right, so now let's jump ahead onto the our weekly market watch. We look at two broad markets, the Greater Portland area. Then we sort of drill down and look at some Casco Bay, waterfront, waterview properties. So this week around Portland, we currently have 173 active listings on the market. That's down 7 from last week.
Okay.
Which out to 78 condos. 69 single-family homes, 25 multi-family homes. This past week, we saw 16 closings in the Greater Portland area. On the lower priced end of those was a condo, was a 2-bed, 1.5 baths, about 1,000 square feet, full finished basement. It sold after about 69 days on the market for $210,000.
All right.
Okay. Fairly. What we're seeing now, comparatively speaking, are relatively longer days on market.
Yeah.
You do see that occasionally, some outliers like that. The highest price home sale this week's another condo on Federal Street in Portland. 3-bed, 3-bath, 2,500 square feet. Home has an elevator, 4 private outdoor decks. It sold on 59 days on market for $849,000, which was the original list price.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought that was interesting, so I made a note there.
Yeah, it is worth knowing that the higher price listings are still selling well. But generally spend more days on market as evidenced by the sale. And we see that, we talk about that all the time when we talk about days on market. Days on market, meaning how long it takes for a house to get sold from the time it's put on the market, is very specific to the price stratus that it's in.
Yeah, locale and price for sure.
Right.
So in Portland, the perfect mix of price if you want to sell fast is $250 to $300.
Right.
And I mean, we're looking at around 30 days on market for that or less for that particular segment.
That's right. Excellent. Now let's look at some news in and around Portland that Matt will bring us.
Okay, so this is cool. There's some housing news here. A lot of you obviously have heard or are concerned to some degree about low-income housing and making sure everyone has a place to call home.
That's right.
So Avesta Maine, which is a quasi-municipal organization that helps to promote homeownership in Maine, they just started building a 64-unit apartment building called West End Apartments, which is not in the West End of Portland. It's actually in South Portland on Westbrook Street. And it's lining up funding to begin building another building next door with 52 units. So they've been awarded $800,000 in low-income federal housing tax credits, and that will go towards building. The rapidly expanding development of the mixed-use, mixed-income housing project validates the city's decision to rezone that particular neighborhood to promote village-style, pedestrian-friendly development, sort of like what they're trying to do over at Rock Row in Westbrook. As you know, Maine faces tough challenges in making sure people have safe, affordable housing.
Right.
Largely because we have an old population and the oldest housing stock in the nation.
Right, so that's those great challenges. When you have an older housing stock, they need to be rehabbed, they need to be upgraded. That takes money.
Yeah.
Right, and it's always this tension between affordable housing and the rehab costs to get that affordable housing to the market.
Yeah, so this is a great project. We're excited to see it open up.
Yep, for sure. Okay, let's jump now over to Casco Bay Market Watch, where we sort of zone in. Now, Casco Bay, just as a reminder, is that area from Pittsburgh Peninsula to the north, down to the south, right? Down to the south past Freeport, past Falmouth, through Portland, South Portland, then down to Cape Elizabeth. That's the Casco Bay. So currently we have 109 active listings in that market on Casco Bay. It's down 4 from last week.
Okay.
And 44 homes are currently under contract, which means they're pending a sale. That's down 4 closings from this past week, which makes sense during this busy holiday week, right? We definitely might see a few less closings. And we also have first big snowstorm of the season.
Exactly. So for closing scheduled on Tuesday,
Right.
may have got rescheduled.
May have got rescheduled or not. Lower end at the price point here was a condo with views of the bay right here in the east end of Portland. It features 2 beds, 1 bath, about 600 square feet. That sold for $375,000. It was a cash sale. Original list price was $419,000. So they had come down, took the cash sale, 26 days on market.
Pretty quick sale overall.
Yep, it is. Highest price home, again on Casco Bay, was up in Harpswell. And that was a 3-bed, 2-bath, over 2,000 square feet, just over, on 2 acres of land, which is a nice sized lot, surely. It featured deep water access, another nice notable feature to the bay, which is great for boaters. That's something that's very desirable.
Yeah, not every home has deep water access, even if they're on Casco Bay.
That's right.
So to have that designated means it's worth a lot to people who are active boaters.
Right. In fact, a lot of the access on Casco Bay is actually tidal, where you have access at certain points of the tide, the mid-tide, higher tides, then low tide, you might just have marsh
Yes.
or mud.
You got to time your return well or you're sleeping on the bay.
Exactly. So that home sold for $689,000, which was down from the original list price of $725,000. So again, 6 months on the market, took a price cut, got to the right price, found a buyer.
As evidenced, prices, generally you adjust that and you make things happen.
Exactly. Now let's take a look at some quick news trivia of what's going on also in Casco Bay.
Right. So, who has heard of the development at 58 4th Street, the old Portland Company complex?
Right.
It's kind of been a big project here coming in. There's a lot of development happening in its sort of historic area. So it's been a little contentious. However, 3 years after the plan was first given preliminary approval, the development will begin planning board review at a workshop scheduled for December 10. So what's going to be reviewed at this workshop? So it's going to be block 1, 2, and 4, and it's construction of Class A, just to quickly run through, Class A office buildings, retail, parking, restaurants, office space, 5-level parking garage, residential units, retail, office and event space. So it's another one of those mixed-use village-style developments.
We're seeing a lot of come in the area.
Yeah, they're really neat to see how they're putting that together.
Yep.
They also got to figure how they're going to adjust to the Maine narrow gauge railroad, which at one, I think for half a minute was going to move to gray. Now they're staying down here. They want it to stay as a central part of the Portland waterfront, which I think is a great idea. So they just got to figure out how to move that around so it works for everybody. So that's interesting. And then in relation to that development and other exciting news happening, there's a movement that's been spurred to have a commuter rail line come in from Westbrook to the East End, which I think is a fantastic idea to reduce the car congestion here on the peninsula.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a PWR Alliance, Portland West Rail, formed by a group of businesses and organizations that formed after a feasibility study of a